Good afternoon. Agitner Shabbos Kodesh. Today is Friday, Parshas Pinchas, Chai Tammuz Tuvshin Paivuv, July 3rd, 2026. My name is Gershy Schwarcz, and I am your host with the news of the last 24 hours on Edge. Your daily report of the news of the last 24 hours, powered by Yiddish24, provided to you by The Click. Today's news is sponsored to you by Halo 2, high-functioning water, kosher skinny shot, and My Home Finish for your shades. Iran is kicking off a massive week-long funeral. They're burying their leader, Ali Khamenei, who was killed, really. Obliterated, I would say, because the coffin is very light. I don't know what they have in there, but maybe dust, I don't know, because he was obviously gone, melted in thin air from the 30 bombs dropped on his compound. A week-long funeral across two countries with every top terrorist leader coming out of hiding to be there. They're doubling security measures with a few helicopters hovering over them. But the real security measures they're talking about is announcing threats. Also, a major double game exposed by an EU research group. The report reveals that Qatar is cutting secret military deals with Russia and China, all while hosting America's biggest military base in the Middle East and also talks. And a total irony, a European politician who is leading an investigation into the abuse of an Israeli spyware software just got hacked by it himself. Stay tuned for all this and way more. But first, let's talk about your water. You know, we all drink water, but, well, not all water is the same. Halo 2 calls theirs high-functioning water because it's made to help your body function better. It has electrolytes that helps your body absorb the water more efficiently. Have you ever tried putting a tea bag in a regular cup of water, cold water? Tell me how long it takes for that tea bag to dissolve itself. It takes a long time. I've tried it with Halo 2. In seconds, it dissolves just like in a hot cup of water. Same thing. The reason why I'm saying this experiment is to show you what water does to your body. You need the water that you drink to absorb in your body. This is what Halo 2 is. It's clean, efficient water, engineered to perfection with a pH of 9+, that helps you wake up feeling energized, and you just function better. That's it. I've been drinking this water, and as a business owner myself, I can tell you, the thinking I need to do, it just helps me. I just feel energized. I feel refreshed. I only drink this water, by the way. And also, it avoids me having to battle these colds and flus, the seasonal, I don't know. This water. This is what it does. I'm telling you, I'm not a doctor, but I'm just telling you, you can ask your doctor about these things. But Halo 2, find it in your local grocery stores, your local supermarkets. And yeah, it'll help you get through busy days full of energy just with high-functioning water. All right, spoke about the water. Take a drink, take a sip, and let's talk about the news. Iran is burying Ali Khamenei right now. And the noise coming out of my speakers are like... Anyway, they've turned it into a week-long production across two countries. The ceremonies opened up this morning at the Grand Mosalla in Tehran, where his body is lying in state. Well, I think so. Or whatever's left of his body. And from here, the coffin travels to Qom, I think that's called, and then to the holy Shia cities of Iraq, until the burial is in his hometown of Mashhad next Thursday. It's gonna take a while to bury this guy. As we told you yesterday, he was killed on the first day of the war, on Shabbos, and the funeral waited until the fighting stopped. Today was the day for the foreign delegations. The public farewell, well, that's who's showing up right now, starts tomorrow morning. So today is only the foreign delegation. We'll talk about them in a second. And Iran expects up to 20 million people over the week. Huge crowds already filling up the streets in the extreme heat right now. And Iran called up the besieged forces to control them. And the recordings inside are catching some interesting things. Yes, right next to Arakchi, who didn't seem to be crying, stood Galibaf. Mohammad Galibaf. We spoke about him a lot lately on Edge. Iran's parliament speaker, the man running the negotiations with America, was seen weeping at the coffin. President Pezeshkian was among those crying too. A man was seen saluting from a wheelchair. And people didn't know who he was at first, but that's Ahmad Vahidi, according to some reports, the new commander of the Revolutionary Guard. Out in public for the first time since he took the job. He's been hiding for months, afraid of being next. He's obviously injured from the bombs. MOJTABA Khamenei, the son of the new supreme leader, and the entire surviving family has not been seen. Perhaps his cardboard cutout appeared I don't know if that's a true video. I think it was mocked by the Israelis who made this on AI. I don't know. Maybe it is true. I don't know. But definitely cardboard cutout appear to come out. Next to Khamenei's coffin are the coffins of his family killed with him in the strikes, his daughter, his son-in-law, and a 14-month-old granddaughter, and the wife of MOJTABA himself. So MOJTABA is keeping the funeral of his own father and his own wife, skipping, because Israel's defense minister said it plainly. He is marked for death. Perhaps MOJTABA was standing somewhere in that hall in disguise. A new look, nobody knows. A different beard, I wonder. An entire Hamas leadership and the relatives of Hezbollah, Nasrallah, and ARC terrorists, whatever his name is, Imad Mojnia, flew in from Lebanon to stand at the coffin. Reports say Iran deliberately kept the faces of several other terror commanders off camera for their safety. In other words, that room is worth a ton of money. So many wanted criminals and terrorists in that very same room right now as we speak, or maybe they left it already. And there's so much money you can make by just bringing them in, because they're promised millions of dollars for bringing their heads to the table. The Iranian leader representative in the city of Sari said out loud what the whole event is about. We will always chant death to America. We demand revenge for the blood of the leader. And that is it. And their assassination, meaning Trump and Netanyahu by name, he said. The capital is on high alert. Helicopters overhead. As about 50 official delegations land, Iraq's President Nizar Hamidi, Pakistani's Prime Minister with his army chief. Russia has also sent Medvedev, the ex-president, and even Taliban's foreign minister. And Iran claims guests from as many as 100 countries are arriving. Even Saudi Arabia sent a delegation, which is actually very surprising. Iran is using the event to send a message to Trump as military commanders vow revenge and warn of the harsh response if the US attacks. But it is not the American military that is a problem. US officials actually warned Iran's top negotiators that Israel might try to assassinate them. And those two negotiators we told you about yesterday, the ones the New York Times says Israel planned to kill in the middle of the talks, are both at the funeral under heavy guard. Arakchi and Galibaf, the one who was crying before. But there is an update on that story. Netanyahu's office is now flatly denying it, saying, quote, as usual, the New York Times fake news latest story about Israel and the Iranian negotiators is fake news, a complete fabrication of reality. So you have American officials saying one thing and Yerushalayim saying another. For now, the ceasefire is holding in the Strait of Hormuz, where the number of passing ships quadrupled in the past week. Not sure about that because, in fact, Iran says it reached a new agreement with Oman over the Strait of Hormuz, so only about 35 ships passed, but also reports have been seeing them anchored in the middle, not being able to move. Parliament Speaker Galibaf claimed that the deal is based on a formal understanding with the United States. But that peace, the peace is absent at the negotiations table. Representatives from the US and Iran clashed at the Emergency UN Security Council on Thursday. The emergency meeting was held because Iran's military continues to attack Bahrain and Kuwait despite the ceasefire. So the US Ambassador Mike Waltz accused Tehran of disrupting the pause, and warned that Trump's patience is not unlimited. When the Iranian representative tried to quiet the international group, Waltz refused. He refused to allow it to happen. He told him, this is not Tehran, and you will not silence this body. Still, President Trump said negotiations were making major progress because Iran has accepted almost all of America's key demands. We'll see if that's true or not. He also defended his decision to start the war 4 months ago, which was recently supported by the Supreme Court. He said, a year and a half ago, we were laughed at. They're not laughing anymore. Let's talk about who's not laughing. When you have good shades, nobody can see if you're laughing because the windows shades are closed. You have to have good blinds, good shades, good curtains to be successful, okay? You want to upgrade your home with a nice look? Shades do it all. It's literally the face of your house. So, you have development, a new house, an office. You call My Home Finish today because people come back to them for the price. And they come back to them for the service. Never come back for the quality. You know why? Because it lasts. They service Monroe, Muncie, upstate New York, and the New York City region as well. Contact My Home Finish today. 845-372-6613. Again, the number is 845-372-6613. Or call or visit myhomefinish.com. info@myhomefinish.com. That's the email address. Best place for shades and blinds and curtains. All right, now let's talk about Qatar, because two stories this week tell one story. First, the European Parliament Research Group put out a blistering report. Qatar is cutting military deals with Russia and China while hosting America's biggest military base in the Middle East, Al Udeid. The report says Qatar uses its Al Jazeera network as a foreign policy weapon and its gas supplies to pressure Europe. Second, that new Air Force One we're talking about all week, right? The $400 million plane Qatar gifted Trump, which he flew for the first time this week to North Dakota to open up the new library there, the presidential library. Critics in Washington are asking the bigger question: why does Qatar keep writing these checks? This is the same Qatar that hosts Hamas leaders in five-star hotels, that's poured billions into American universities, lobbyists, universities, think tanks, where investigators once found $6 billion in foreign funding. The schools never disclosed, and the same Qatar behind the Qatargate scandal, where European lawmakers were caught with more than $1 million in cash. Analysts say the plane isn't a gift, it's a strategy, buying access, 1 billion at a time. On the ground, the IDF isn't waiting. They're aggressively pushing deeper into Lebanese areas where the Hezbollah terrorists are still hiding. They targeted terror tunnels in Kunin and flattened Hezbollah buildings in Beit Yahun, I think it's called. Just yesterday afternoon, an Israeli drone also caught a Hezbollah fighter stepping out of a tunnel in the woods and killed him on the spot. An Islamic Jihad in Lebanon branch announced that one of its fighters, I think Suhaib Rahil, was killed fighting the Israeli military. An Israeli military reservist was also seriously wounded by a Hezbollah gunman in southern Lebanon. After the soldier was taken to hospital, the Israeli tanks returned fire at the building and where the shots came from, obviously. The Air Force even bombed the other targets in the area looking for the shooter. On the same day, Israeli bombed Hezbollah infrastructure in southern Lebanon, a blast so powerful it split an entire village in half. Videos show a giant gap in the ground running directly through the middle of the Majdal zone, whatever it's called there. Anyway, in Gaza, Yellow Line, the military has destroyed 83% of Hamas tunnels. The Israeli military and the Shin Bet also announced that they have killed a Hamas commander who held 4 hostages in Gaza throughout the war. Mohammed Naim Jandia was the head of the military security for Hamas Shejia battalion. The military says that he commanded a group that broke into Kibbutz Nahal Oz on October 7th and kidnapped Captain Daniel Peretz. During the war, Jadia also held 3 other hostages in an underground tunnel: Yotam Chaim, Samir al-Talalka, and Alon Shamriz, who were later killed by mistake through the IDF, actually. Let's talk about not making any mistakes when you eat. You know, your brain makes mistakes. It doesn't tell you right away when you're done eating. People can eat and eat and eat and not realize. Gaining weight is a severe problem nowadays, especially with all the processed foods around us. So you need a healthy lifestyle. Ask your doctor before to find out this information if it is made for you, if you are eligible. But Kosher Skinny Shot can offer you that kind of lifestyle, a change in your life. I've spoken to people personally who've gone through this Kosher Skinny Shot. It's a remedy for success and feeling good, energized. 845-456-8924 is Kosher Skinny Shot. And you can also still call in until we sit here and do the raffle, the draw live. You still call in my number, 845-671-1775. Press 5, leave your name and telephone number very clearly saying that you want to enter the raffle, Kosher Skinny Shot on Edge. It's not just the water that you drink, besides water, but also Kosher Skinny Shot can also help you get there. The Rosh Yeshiva of Brisk, Harav Avrum Yeshia Slavaichik Shlita, has been released from Hadassah Hospital in Yerushalayim, Baruch Hashem. His condition has greatly improved. Claudius Ruh continues to daven for a complete Refi Yerushalayim for the Avrum Yeshia ben Etel. A terrible tragedy happened yesterday in Modi'in Illit on the fast of Shivus B'Tammuz. A 7-year-old boy named Moshe Galinsky was killed after a city bus hit him. He was crossing the street on his way home from Chayda when an accident happened in the Brachfeld neighborhood on Rabbi Akiva Street. He is the son of Rabbi Aaron Galinsky from the local Breslov community and the great-grandson of Rav Yankele Galinsky. The boy passed away immediately from his severe injuries. How sad. Zaka volunteers arrived to ensure the honor of the deceased. A non-Jewish resident in the Catskills, here in upstate New York, asked locals to give a warm welcome to Hasidic Yidden arriving to Sullivan County for the summer now for the country. He posted on a local Facebook group with over 55,000 members, and he said that there the man praised the community for boosting the local economy and bringing zero crime to the area. The message led to hundreds of positive reactions from other locals, sharing their own good experiences interacting with the Yidden there. What a Kiddush Hashem. A Heimische family from Monsey won a multi-million-dollar lottery prize. They bought a winning $10 scratch-off ticket at a store in Spring Valley. Now they can choose a one-time lump sum of payment of $3,459 before taxes, or an annual payment of $260,000 before taxes each year for 20 years. So they can either take about $3 million, whatever. Very nice. Mazel tov. Congratulations. They're actually a very good. They're known to be a very giving and caring family, a people of Bala Chasudim. President Trump questioned why Jewish voters support the Democratic Party. He said that he has been the best president in history for the Jews, and they acknowledge it even. He said, quote, "How a Jewish person can vote for a Democrat is beyond me, because I have been the best president in the history for Israel." And they acknowledge it too. And by the way, he says, in Israel, I think I was at 99% or something. Historically, Trump has good approval ratings among Israelis, but this has dipped in Israel since the signed Memorandum of Understanding with Iran, or misunderstanding. A poll published last month by the Israeli Democracy Institute found that only 44% of Israelis now think that Israel's security is one of Trump's main considerations. He was asked if he spoke to Elon Musk since he became the first trillionaire, and he said the following.
Since he became a trillionaire. Indeed.
I haven't. I wrote him a note. I said, congratulations, very good. I have a very good relationship with Elon. Elon and I had a little dispute because he backed me 100%. He liked me, still likes me. But I did a little thing called the electric mandate. We're not going to have an electric mandate where everybody has to have an electric car, where your beautiful son standing over there is mandated to have an electric car if he wants gas generated or gasoline generated or a hybrid.
Anyway, President Trump doing his best. 8 pro-Palestinian students at the University of Michigan have been officially criminally charged by the federal government for targeting university officials and local Jewish homes. Investigators say the group vandalized the properties of local Jews and the pro-Israeli community. Officials said that the students also planned the poison and murder of specific people they targeted. In Canada, the man who firebombed the shul has pleaded guilty. He admitted that he was promised $15,000 to carry out this attack. The man, Mohammed Ilis Akodad, claimed that the attack was driven by drugs rather than anti-Semitism. Still, he told the court that he believes he deserves to be severely punished. Turkey's foreign minister went on television and said that people in Israel are a burden that humanity can no longer bear. Minister Hakan Fidan called Israel a problem for the whole world and said that there is no possible way for the international community to continue dealing with these people. Fidan then called for sanctions against Yerushalayim, but Israeli Foreign Minister Gideon Sa'ar responded, and he said he called the Turkish minister's words an invitation to genocide, and he asked the world to officially condemn him. Here is why the internet is a charm. Over in Pennsylvania, A new government report reveals damning information about the 2024 assassination attempt on Trump in the Butler rally. The report found that at the exact moment Thomas Crooks fired, the Secret Service operator who should have spotted him was searching Google, trying to figure out where the shooter's rooftop even was. Even worse, the agency completely missed 102 radio calls, leaving Trump's personal bodyguards totally blind to the threat. The Inspector General ordered the agency to fix how they share information and secure all locations with a clear view of the stage before any future events. U.S. federal immigration authorities arrested more than 10,000 people over a 5-day period this week. On one single day, they arrested more than 2,400 people. At the border, the government is building a $46 billion security project using tall steel walls and advanced camera technology. Right now, illegal border crossings are at their lowest levels in decades. The death toll from the earthquakes in Venezuela has now reached 2,595. Authorities say 12,400 people are injured, and tens of thousands are still missing. Rescue workers are still finding people alive. A rescuer from Mexico, from the Mexican team, spoke out to praise the Israeli drone technology that is currently helping them search through the earthquake rubble by sensing heat signals and human activity deep underneath concrete and underneath the rubble, which is amazing. An Israeli aid delegation was also sent directly to Caracas to help the earthquake victims. However, pro-Palestinian activists exposed the Israeli team's location online. The activists spread posts online pointing out that 17 years after Venezuela cut ties with Israel, the Israelis are the ones showing up to help. Yosef Garmon gave an interview in the news studio of a local channel in Venezuela to clarify the mission. Garmon is the president of the Humanitarian Coalition, the head of Zaka in Latin America, a former chief rabbi of Guatemala, and a reserve captain in the Israeli military armored corps. Now, speaking about the relief efforts, Garmon stated, "We are here to help, no politics." The Houthis in Yemen and Saudi Arabia are heating up again. You remember not long ago I reported here on Edge about the Houthis fighting with Saudi Arabia bombing them with jets. The Houthi military spokesperson claimed Saudi fighter jets tried earlier this morning to block an Iranian plane carrying standard Yemenis home, and that Houthi forces fired missiles at Saudi jets, forcing them to turn back before the plane landed in Sana'a. Saudi Arabia hasn't confirmed any of it, but the Houthis are now threatening that any Saudi attack will be answered with strikes on Saudi airports. After years of quiet between the two countries, that's a fight nobody needs reopening, obviously. The US is warning Poland that Russia is getting ready to test NATO's borders. American officials say Moscow might fly drones or warplanes into Polish airspace and then just claim it was an accident. The goal is to see if NATO actually fights back. If NATO hesitates, Russia hopes to scare the West into dropping its support for Ukraine, all without starting a full-blown war. Speaking of NATO, Trump complained that much of the US budget goes to them, even if their relationship is, quote, non-reciprocal. On Truth Social, Trump wrote, "The United States spends more money on NATO than any other country by far to protect them without getting any benefit from doing so." He then compared America's contribution to other countries. He said that the US spends $999 billion, but others, including Germany, UK, are much lower. Actually, UK is the highest after that, but like we're talking about 22 billion, much lower. Let's talk about spending money. Wise Capital Group is there for you for your loans, for investments. 718-831-2168. 718-831-2168. Wise Capital Group. If you want to take a taxi now in the summer, you need taxis, right? To take you places. 845-622-1111. 845-254-1111. Palm Tree. That's Arrive Express. Let's talk about technology before we talk about prototypes. Okay, now, for some irony, from Europe, a European politician named Stelios, whatever his name is, spent a year leading the parliament's investigation into illegal phone spying. And it turns out that the whole time, someone was spying on his phone. Researchers confirmed his phone was hacked at least 3 times with Pegasus, the powerful Israeli cyber tool that turns on your microphone and your camera without you ever knowing. Investigators got investigated, and now he says he is suing NSO, the company that makes it. Let's talk about Protobyte. Protobyte is there for you when you need software designing, website development. 347-354-1237. And before we finish off today's episode, let's again thank Halo. Okay? Halo, we all know, we drink water, but not all water is the same. Halo 2 calls their high-functioning water because it is made to help your body function better. It has electrolytes that helps your body absorb the water more efficiently, right? Plus, it's pH balanced. It helps you wake up feeling energized, and you just function better. I've been drinking this water for a while now, as you can see, and I wake up early, be able to say the news, right? And get through my busy day, full of energy with Halo 2 high-functioning water. Available in all your local grocery stores, supermarkets. And with that, my friends, have yourselves a wonderful Shabbos Kodesh. We'll see each other with Silas Tovas next week. Bye. Your daily report of the news of the last 24 hours, powered by Yiddish24, provided to you by The Click.